You are listening to the official internet radio show of the Trump Kim Jong-un Super Meeting Together Summit, I think it's called. Anyways, that's going to be the Mike Sasson Show. You're listening to it on the River's Edge at www.riversedgepgh.com, where you get the best local music and the best talk on the internet. It's unbelievable. My name is Mike Sasson. I am your host for the next hour or so of just internet radio mayhem. So just join us as today we talk about super producer Alex Clemens. She just celebrated her 25th birthday, so she'll be talking about that. I'm sure there was a lot of alcohol-fueled hijinks with that. Also, this was a big week in public nudity. We'll be going over that. Also, how I am going to fix the Miss America pageant. I'm going to have a new segment called I'll Fix That, in which I fix something, and this week it's the Miss America pageant. We'll be going over that. Also, someone put together the 40 most overused workplace sayings, jargons, like, you know, we got to think outside the box, and Mike, put your pants on, you know, things like that. Also, we'll be looking in fresh eyes for a person who shares Alex Clemens' birthday is the great Prince, and Prince, I found a video of his first television appearance, so we're going to share that. It's from Fresh Eyes. It's going to be great. Also, a bunch of other stuff that you're not going to want to miss. Again, it's the Mike Sasson Show. You could be listening to us on the River's Edge or on the TuneIn Radio app across the planet Earth, or you could be watching us on Facebook Live, or you could be watching us on YouTube, or you could be listening to us on any of the great podcast formats, either SoundCloud, Google Play, or iTunes. Now, once again, I introduce the greatest producer in the history of internet radio. If you ever want to visit the Internet Radio Hall of Fame, and this person, again, first ballot Internet Radio Hall of Famer. By the way, she's wearing the jacket of the Internet Radio Hall of Fame. It is a jean jacket. It is very nice. I think it was a fitting tribute to your induction into the Internet Radio Hall of Fame, Alex.
Yeah, I mean, it says it on the back.
Yeah, internet in all rhinestones.
Oh, no.
No, what is it?
No, it's just like a giant patch on the back that says Internet Radio Hall of Fame.
There you go. All right. And anyway, it's Alex Clemens over there. If you ever want to visit the Internet Radio Hall of Fame, it's outside of an abandoned Dunkin' Donuts outside of Portland, Oregon. Now, if you haven't already, you can wish Alex Clemens a beautiful birthday because, again, we celebrated the birthday of Alex last week. And so we can thank you there. 25 years, Alex.
Oh, it's been a long 25 years, Mike.
It's been a long 25 years. What do you get for your 25th birthday? I mean,
nothing.
Yeah, you kind of, well, here are the big birthdays. 1-0, because that is your birthday. That's the big one.
The day you were born.
Yeah, yes. The day you were born. Then, like, when you become 16, because then you can get the car.
Right.
18, because now you can get the porn and you can go, like, off to war.
Porn, cigarettes, and war.
Porn, cigarettes, and war. Then 21 is alcohol, free to drink it.
I can rent a car now without it being, like, super shitty.
Yeah, that's the big thing. You can rent a car without it being super shitty, which is what we all want. We want to make sure that it's not super shitty to rent a car. So, Alex, I actually saw you the day before. I mean, actually about 10 o'clock, so it was almost the birthday. You were celebrating with friends.
The friends that showed up to see me.
Yeah, and as did I, because I performed in front of a group of people that were in no way interested in my stand-up comedy.
Yeah, I don't think anyone was interested in comedy that night. They were just like, I want to be here for Alex.
Yeah, it was because you wanted to be there for Alex. Also, there was an NBA Finals game.
No, that wasn't it.
That wasn't it?
No.
That was the celebration of Alex.
Yeah, it was just me.
It was just...
I posted on Instagram that I wanted people to come to Scarpation Pacey's, and boy, did people show up.
That's
by the hundreds.
It was almost, they had to shut the place down.
Yeah, it was pretty absurd.
It was getting to a point of being, I couldn't even get close to you.
Yeah. It was like everyone in Mount Washington, like that lives in Mount Washington, every single person there was like, "Oh, did you hear it's Alex's birthday night? Let's go to Scarpacey's."
Yeah, even the people that are kind of sketchy that you really didn't want to see your Instagram post, they saw it and they showed up.
They were there and they brought me cake and they brought me cocaine and strippers and what lovely people those Mount Washington people are.
Yeah, cocaine and strippers, which is what you get for someone on their 25th birthday. So other than visiting Scarpacey's bar and feeling the love of Mount Washington, which in most cases means that you have to take a long shower afterwards, what else did you do for your 25th birthday, Alex?
Not much, really. The day of my birthday, I went to work. Work people were really nice to me. My assistant manager blew up 72 balloons, and then when I walked in, like, they all fell on me.
Now let me ask you a question. What was the signification of 72 balloons?
I think that was probably just how many came in. Like that was just like, the number in the package.
Were you like Rain Man? Did you count them all?
No, he did while he was blowing them up.
He just knew that there were 72.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there's obviously some that popped, so it might not have been 72 that actually fell onto me. But it was pretty close to it, and people bought me cupcakes and cake. Someone bought me a poop cupcake. Not like made of poop, but it looked like poop. And my bosses gave me a cake. So lots of sweets that I didn't really eat.
Are you against sweets, or were you trying to like?
No, it's just like a lot of shit all in one day. Like, I don't want to eat so many sweets that I can't enjoy my birthday.
Did you save the cake? Have you been eating the cake since?
No, I had them take it home to their kids.
There you know. You know what? That's the type of person Alex is. It's her birthday, but you get the gift. That's how it works.
The gift of Alex.
The gift of Alex. Now, a couple questions. Now that you are the ripe old age of 25. Is this what you imagined 25 would be?
I don't think I ever really thought this far ahead in my life, to be honest. Like when I was younger, all those times you're like, oh, I want to be an adult. I want to be older, and you want to look forward to so many things. It never really went past being 21 and being able to drink, So like looking forward to things. But I mean, in the past couple of years, this is pretty much what I expected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't expect to have like a husband and 3 kids and white picket fence and all that kind of stuff?
Maybe when I was like 4 and I was planning out my life, but other than that, no, I wasn't.
By about 12, you knew that you were going to be hosting. You know you were going to be hosting big time internet radio shows.
Yeah, if I had been married before I was 25, I definitely could have assumed that I'd be divorced.
You'd have been one of those like how like the superstars, like the big time celebrities, get like divorced like 8 weeks after getting married.
You know what I found out?
What did you find out?
My mom told me this fun fact about one of my favorite G-Dilfs, Sam Elliott. Him and his wife. So his wife before him was married 5 times. 5 times, got divorced 5 times, but they have still been married for 30-some years.
How
cool is that? I could get divorced 5 times.
Yes.
And still be married for 30 years, because that's my main concern is that I want to be married for a long time, but I'm also okay with divorce, I guess.
Well, let me ask you a question. Like, a lot of people feel that the reason why the divorce rate is up because people just expect too much out of their partner. And so they expect their partner to, give them unbelievable happiness at every moment of every day. You realize that when you get married to someone that you're still going to not experience happiness and all, right?
Yeah, no happiness whatsoever.
None at all.
Yeah.
That's why if you ever look at like pictures of married couples from like the 1920s, they just stare into the camera and they don't smile.
Just stone face.
Stone face. You ever take a picture of your great grandpa? There's never a picture of your great grandpa like happy.
Yeah. I mean, every man on my dad's side of the family, they don't smile in pictures.
No,
None of them smile.
Yeah. We talked about it last week that I'm incapable. I could smile, but I just look like get that damn thing out of my face. That kind of smile.
Yeah, you should just not.
Yeah, I shouldn't. Anyways, it looks more. I read a book that makes you look like more like women like it's more sexy. It's more like you're like stone, like blue steel type of like model look.
No.
Okay.
Wait. Did you see? I don't know if you saw the amount of bacon that I ate on Friday. Did you see?
I saw that you did go to a restaurant out in Carnegie dedicated to bacon.
It's called Bacon. It's amazing. I don't like the interior of it.
Okay.
They should really change that.
What's the interior like?
It just looks like a shitty, like, it's like very well lit, like chain restaurant looking, like someplace you would maybe eat breakfast, but like it doesn't look like what it should be. But all the food was amazing. So I got a Bloody Mary with bacon in it.
Yep.
Then I got a whiskey flight that had pieces of bacon to go with each whiskey that you were trying.
Okay.
Amazing.
All right.
Amazing. They had a candied bacon that was, ugh. And then I had their take on chicken and waffles. It was chicken and pancakes, and the pancakes had bacon in them with a bourbon maple syrup.
Bacon has made a huge like impact on like bacon. When I was like a kid, I mean, people liked bacon, but it wasn't on everything.
Yeah.
Now you can't escape bacon. Every restaurant has some sort of bacon themed something.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of that, I was actually at a local restaurant with a breakfast buffet.
Oh.
And so I was watching, and I in one of the things in line that you could get was bacon, and I'm a big fan. But like most things at a buffet, sometimes if they've been out for a little while, they're a little dry. But you know what? Dry bacon's still better than no bacon.
No bacon, yeah.
So I take the bacon, and they're like all kind of together. So it became like a bacon, like I was eating beef jerky. You know, it was just a big thing of bacon.
Yeah.
I felt like I was like a caveman back in the day, you know, kind of deal. And there was this woman who was making an obscene amount of complaining noise about the state of the bacon.
Oh.
Like she was just like, this bacon's terrible.
I thought you were gonna say about you eating it.
No. She was thrilled that I was there. She understands that I'm a big time internet radio celebrity. So she sat there and she was talking about how she didn't like the bacon and it was too crisp, whatever like that. So eventually she flagged down a woman when she was like replenishing everything else in the breakfast buffet.
Yeah.
And she just goes, "Yeah, I need new bacon.
I need it.
I need new bacon." And the look on the woman's face was that look of just like, you're going to be that person, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the person that's just going to be. The first time I ever looked at that face was I was at Haas Steak and Sea House.
Oh my God.
Which I love, but they moved all of them out of Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
They're like the closest one is in like Murraysville. It's nowhere. But I loved it. This one was in Hampton, and I remember this woman, older woman, of course, went up to this like maybe someone in their 17, 18 years old. And the old woman comes up to him and had just tried putting the chicken soup in there. And she went up to the teenager and just goes, "Excuse me, I need to speak to someone. I need soup with low sodium."
This sounds exactly like how she would have sounded.
Yeah, and like the guy, like the woman who, like the girl was like 16 years old, was just like, This is the only soup we have. She says, "No, I require low sodium soup." And like she was like, "I'm sorry, this is the only chicken soup we have." She goes, "Well, tell the person who makes the soup to make a batch with low sodium." And the person just eventually, it was like trying to admit to someone like there's no Santa Claus. She goes, "Ma'am, we get this out of a can."
Yeah.
Like there's not like a person in the back who's like slow roasting soup or something like that. This is clearly stuff.
This is Campbell's.
Yeah, this is Campbell's soup. We pour put water and just throw it out there. And everyone is happy except you. And I remember looking at this person's face and I'm just like, damn, it's so difficult sometimes to deal with the elderly. It really is.
I don't know.
Yeah, your job doesn't necessarily. There's not a lot of elderly people that shop at your store.
Well, there are.
There are?
Yeah.
Do they shop for themselves? Like, I want one of those shirts that says Sidney Crosby is a good hockey player.
They don't typically talk like that. They typically talk like normal old people.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I mean, they buy stuff for themselves or for gifts and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they're in there.
They're in there. And they're always pleasant?
For the most part, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah, they always buy the most stuff, too.
Really?
Yeah, like, especially during the holidays. That's
Yeah.
like, who's buying the most. I gotta get a shirt for each one of my grandkids.
That's
you know?
how she. Yeah, there you go. The problem is what I would have with my grandma, outside the fact that she's currently dead, is no one knew my size. No one thought to. No, when I tell people my size, especially when I was like a lot bigger, no one believed me. Like I'd be like, yeah, I need 4XLT.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, no, you don't. You need XL.
And no one
no,
sells
you
that.
you need XL. And I'm like, no, I need 4XLT. XL might as well be small for me. This is when I was like 400 pounds.
Yeah. Did they ever hold up an XL and like?
No, they just assumed that XL was this, because I think until like the 1980s, XL was the biggest shirt that was sold in a store.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, and even before, because if you were that large in the 1950s, you were
There's
dead.
something wrong with you.
Yeah, you were dead. You were just dead. You were already dead. That's how it worked. Anyways, moving on. Again, happy birthday, and make sure to wish Alex happy birthday because, again, she's your favorite producer extraordinaire.
Thanks.
Anyways, so the other thing that happened this past week outside of your birthday was it was a huge week in public nudity. Here locally, there was not one, but two naked male joggers jogging through the city of Pittsburgh. So let's go with the first naked male jogger. He was. They've caught him taking pictures. He was over the Fort Pitt Bridge, and he actually, they said, ran all the way up to Mount Washington. So that's an in-shape nude jogger to go from the Fort Pitt Bridge all the way up to Grandview Avenue.
I just want to specify that he is not wearing shoes either.
Yeah.
That's the thing that really amazes me. Not the nude thing. I mean, like
he is nude.
Yeah, he's definitely nude, completely nude. But he's not wearing shoes through all of downtown Pittsburgh up into Mount Washington. Like,
Yeah.
I'm surprised that he's not dead from some needle going into his foot.
And
not the fact that he's nude.
And then the other thing that he claims is when they eventually caught him was he said the reason why that he was nude running up to Mount Washington was that there were people that robbed him and took all of his clothes.
And he just kept running.
Yeah, he just kept
up
running.
to Did he live in Mount Washington?
I don't know. There was a lot of things to be explained by this, and it wasn't explained at all in any news reports.
Okay.
So then the second thing happened is then the next day, apparently a completely different guy, or the same guy, no news report has any different accounts, a guy was running in the south side of Pittsburgh, which if you're not from Pittsburgh is it's a string of bars. So people running around naked's a little bit more believable. But the one thing that got me was he stopped on the street and started doing naked yoga.
Because why not?
Why not do naked yoga?
Honestly, it doesn't seem as much like he's doing naked yoga as he's like waking up from a shitty drunk night and like, I can't do this anymore. I need to stretch.
Yeah, he just needed to stretch his lower back.
Yeah, he didn't get time to.
Now, the one thing that gets me about this event is the fact that everyone just seemed to be really freaked out by the fact that there were just naked men running through the city.
I don't know why you would be freaked out by that.
They said there were almost multiple accidents on the Fort Pitt Bridge because people were trying to take pictures of the naked guy jogging.
Okay, well, that's people's stupid faults, not his.
My thing is, if I saw a naked guy jogging, I would just be like, oh. And then I would just go on with my day. But there apparently some people are like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
I'd be like, good for you, bro. You can do it. Keep going.
So many people were like going, says, it was very weird, but I'm so happy my kids weren't here. And I'm just like, your kids are not going to be that traumatized because they see some freaking dude's butt. Whatever.
Right, like they probably see their own butt all the time. What's someone else's?
That's why we have weird things about our own bodies, is because when someone wants to run around and jog nude, everyone's like, oh my God, it's the worst thing that anyone's ever seen in their lives. We shouldn't encourage nude jogging because, again, you should at least wear shoes.
Yeah, definitely shoes.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm good with it.
I believe within the next 30 years, nude jogging, at least with shoes, in the city of Pittsburgh will not only be legal, it'll be encouraged.
So there's these two dudes doing it. We got to get the females on board.
Well, speaking of female nudity, this happened this past week. The Washington Capitals finally won a Stanley Cup. And so what happens when you win the Stanley Cup is they give you the big-ass trophy, and then they give it to the captain, which in this case was Alexander Ovechkin. And when he was skating around with the trophy with all of his teammates behind him, a woman, and they say it was flashing. It wasn't flashing. Flashing is whip out the boobs and then put them back.
Right.
This person was exposing her breasts for the entire Washington Capitals to see, which led to some interesting photographs. Because in the first photograph, you see Alexander Ovechkin with the Stanley Cup, being very excited, and his teammate pointing at the nude woman, saying basically like, "Hey, thank you for being topless."
Right.
And then the second picture is Alexander Ovechkin continuing to carry the Stanley Cup around the ice, and his teammates being totally disinterested because there was a woman's boobs out.
Yeah. It doesn't seem, the funny thing to me is that it doesn't seem like the people around her care at all.
Well, I think the fact of the matter is, I'll make some value judgments. She's an extremely attractive woman.
Yeah.
And she has nice boobs.
Yeah,
so
but
I don't think anybody in the crowd is that interested, because they again, the Stanley Cup is in front of them. The woman was the only person that could see her boobs were either A, the players, or B, the person on either side of them.
Yeah, but neither of the people on the side of her are paying attention to her at all.
Which
they must know her, and they're like, oh, Jenna, she does this all the time.
Now, I personally believe, by saying, again, it proves men. This is a team of men that have fought hard and gotten the toughest trophy to win in sports, have broken a curse for the Washington Capitals, but yet when a woman exposes her breasts, they all sit there and be like, hey, forget that trophy crap for a couple seconds.
Yeah, look at these boobs.
Look at these boobs, which again points to the fact that women have this magical power to, I think you just shut off my microphone.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. Am I back on?
Yeah.
Women have this magical power with their boobs to create wonderful memories. And I think that this...
More than a stupid piece of
more than
metal.
just winning a major sports championship. It's like everyone who is there is going to sit there and say, hey, remember when we won the Stanley Cup and that woman showed us her boobs?
Do you think it would have been the same reaction if she had showed her butt instead of the boobs?
I think the butt is almost a symbol of, hey, screw you type deal.
Yeah, I know.
That's someone moons you, it's like, hey, that's in no way sexual.
See, boobs are forever.
Boobs are forever. That's a t-shirt you should sell. Boobs
Hell
are
yeah.
forever. And by the way, I think eventually people talk about that will be the Alexander Ovechkin statue outside of the Washington Capitals arena. I think the woman exposing her breast should be part of the statue.
Aw.
And I think that, I hope that all major sports championships now come with someone in the crowd exposing their breasts.
I agree.
I think that
I'm all for it. I'll be there at every sports thing doing that.
Now, I assume you've at one time flashed your boobs. Just went boop, boop, like that.
Boop, boop. Yeah, and I made that noise.
Yeah. Did you make the noise?
Yeah.
You just went boop, boop.
Yeah, I've been streaking before. That was fun.
When did you streak?
I think I was in 11th grade, 10th grade, 9th grade.
You were in... You're going to get down
I
to
really
you were in
went,
third grade.
I had to remember who I was friends with. Yeah, I was in 9th grade, and we were playing some kind of game.
Truth or Dare?
No, it was shit, I don't remember what it was called. It's kind of like hide and seek, but the better version of it.
It's hide and seek nude?
No. We weren't playing nude.
Okay.
I don't like games very much,
Okay.
I don't like competition. So I was bored, and me and my friend we were hiding in some spot, and we're like, why don't we just go streaking and we'll freak everyone out? And then we did, and it was pretty stupid. No one really cared.
Everyone was just like, oh, well, there's Alex
Oh,
Nude.
yeah, that's Alex Nude again.
Was it...
It's not like we haven't seen that before.
Was it you and a girlfriend or you and a boy?
Me and a girl.
You and a girl were just like, hey, let's just run nude.
Let's just streak. We've never done it before. Let's do it. Let's get it over with.
You were in Baldwin again, right?
Yeah.
In someone's backyard. So it wasn't like you were streaking down 51.
No, it was in a park.
Okay.
Yeah.
And everyone's just like, oh, whatever. No one sat there and went, hey, Alex, thanks for that. That was a very nice...
No one thanked me.
No one thanked you?
Yeah.
That's...
Goddamn 9th graders.
Goddamn... And there was no boy that saw you?
Yeah, there's boys that saw me. They just, I guess, didn't. I mean, they're probably too, I don't know, shy 9th grader boys. I don't know.
You don't know.
No one thanked me. And
No
I'm
one thanked you.
upset
No one
about it.
afterwards said, hey, Alex, this was a really boring, stupid game, and you made it into a very memorable event.
Yeah.
None of them did that.
No.
That's sad.
I know. It really is. I'm going to go talk to all of those people that were there and be like, hey, this is what I did for you. This
Yeah.
probably changed your whole life. Somehow had an effect on the rest of your life. You're welcome.
Yeah, because you, from that moment on, people are like, hey, you know what? I can make great moments into amazing, memorable moments just by public nudity.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what I've always thought.
Yeah. By the way, were you wearing shoes?
I really, probably not. I never used to wear shoes.
Really?
I just hate shoes.
You hate shoes?
I've gotten a lot better with it, but yeah. I used to just always wear flip-flops and then never have them on.
You know what? That's
Especially
Alex.
for streaking.
There you go.
It's
Go
pretty
straight.
bad.
And that was the only time, just in 9th grade.
That I can remember.
Okay. There might have been other points.
Yeah. I mean, I've definitely had to do like when you play beer pong and you don't get any cups, you have to do a naked mile. But that's like forced streaking.
Naked mile? Well,
Forced
don't you have
streaking.
to run around the house or something?
Yeah, naked.
Okay.
That's the naked part of it.
Okay. But not an actual mile. Not like something that takes like 10,
No,
15 minutes to do.
Yeah, but it's like a forced streaking, and it's not
Okay.
as fun.
Yeah, because you're like, oh, this signifies my inability to play beer pong.
Yeah, then people always steal your clothes while you're gone. You're like, okay, cool joke. I haven't had this one happen to me before.
I would run with the clothes like under my I would run around at least with the underwear and maybe like a shirt or something.
Yeah, Mike, but like, no. You gotta go all in, you know? And if you just so happen to have to be naked for the rest of the night like that, you know? So what happens?
You know,
It's life.
but here's the thing about that. That way that's what you have to do. If they steal your clothes, you're like, yeah, fine, I'm naked. Now it's on you. I don't care.
Yeah.
Boom. It's on them, and now they feel weird because they're clothed. You're completely comfortable in your nudity.
Right.
And they're all of a sudden just completely just like, oh, now I feel bad.
Yeah. I'm just like shaking my butt at everyone all the time.
Shagging your butt. Anyways, that is why, again, you should all thank Alex for being the greatest producer in the history of the world. Coming up next, it's Bar Thoughts and Experiences from Alex. She'll be discussing something, I don't know, but it'll probably be alcohol related. And then we do my new segment called I'll Fix That, in which I fix the Miss America pageant. It's the Mike Sasson Show. You're listening to us on the River's Edge at www.riversedgepgh.com. We'll be right back.
Brian Crawford letting you know that Kevin Slogic, my State Farm agent in Allison Park, is here to help life go right and reminds you that you're listening to the River's Edge Radio Network.
Come on, go, it's green, come on! Go!
God damn it, Brian. You need to calm down
I'm
with the road
sick of
rage.
these people, these assholes.
The road rage, man. You gotta calm down on the road rage.
Well, I want to get to where we're going. We have a lot of great stuff coming up. We're going to Falling Water,
Bicycle heaven.
the Mattress Factory,
Tuck knob.
Trundle Manor. All right, which way do I go? Which way do I go? Come on,
right,
come on.
right.
Too late now.
Right, come on.
Well, too late now. You know, I got to keep going. I'm not going to sit here like some asshole.
Oh, come on, man.
All right, you're listening to the Culture Cruise. You can find us at riversedgepgh.com.
Your local Pittsburgh area museum podcast.
Yes, riversedgepgh.com, and come take a ride with us.
Again, you were listening to The River's Edge, the home of the best local music and the best talk at www.riversedgepgh.com. Thank you, everyone. And make sure, find the Mike Sasson page on Facebook and like it so you can get all of your favorite Mike Sasson Show content. That's what it's called. Also, June 30th. Do you have anything to do, Alex?
No?
Okay, well, guess what? Now you do. It's called Yins Fest. It's at Mr. Small's Theater. What they're doing is there's actually 3 theaters that make up the Mr. Small's. There's the big theater, then there's downstairs the War Room, and then there's the Fun House. Well, they're going to have Yins Fest, which is going to have poetry and music and games and food and possibly Alex streaking. There's all sorts of amazing things that it's going to be happening. It's going to start at noon. It's June 30th, 2018 at Mr. Small's Theater. You want to check that out. If you want to get tickets, you can go on to Ticketmaster or get it from the individual bands. Also, you can follow them on the Facebook page. It's Yins Fest. It's going to be an amazing event, June 30th, 2018. One of the sponsors being the River's Edge because, again, we are the home for great local music. And we're the home of the Mike Sasson Show, which means you are the home of the greatest producer of all time, Alex Lemons, and her love of alcohol and her love of writing things down as she drinks. It's Bar Thoughts and Experiences with Alex. Alex, play your theme song.
Maybe y'all can relate. My style's dope anyway that you slice it. It's a fresh cut, hope that you like it.
All right, Mike. So I heard this song last week, and it got me to thinking, especially because it was my birthday. This is a little bit more of a serious thought. It's really not serious. It's just not as fun as my normal drinking thoughts, you know? But so I heard this song last week. It's called Dissect the Bird by John Craigie.
Okay.
And basically in the song, he talks about, which got me thinking on my birthday, talks about how it is so crazy that any of us are even alive and in the places that we are. The amount of things that have to happen in order for us to be here. Like the fact that our parents had to meet at all and like had to like each other at all, and then their parents had to meet, and all of these certain circumstances had to happen. Like all these circumstances had to happen in my mom's life in order for her to be in a certain situation in her life, for her to meet my father, and then them actually like each other, and then them decide that they're going to have a third child, you know, and all these different things. And like he talks in the song about how like certain presidents had to die and like certain things had to happen in order for you to just be alive on this earth. It really got me thinking, you know, like that's really nice. We should be really grateful that we're here and that I can live 25 years of my life on this earth and, you know, be happy about it.
Well, one of the things I think you touched upon there, first and foremost, that's a beautiful thought. And the thing that gets me sometimes is that, and it's part of my you know, the segment which I will bring back called Great, That Sucks,
Right.
is the concept that pretty much whatever you look at in life, you can look at it that it sucks or that it's great.
Yeah.
You can look at the fact that, like I was thinking of, again, comedy. Like there's so many things, especially with the rash of suicides recently,
Right.
that, you know, there's certain things that people talk about in their existences that you could either look at it negatively or positively.
Yeah.
Like you sit there and say, oh, I'm all alone. Now, you can look at that negatively, like, oh, nobody loves me and nobody cares, and if I die, no one will miss me, kind of deal. Or you could sit there and say, hey, I'm alone. I'm free to do whatever I want. If I want to get in my car tomorrow and drive to, you know, San Francisco and start a new life, no one's stopping me.
Right.
I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Or if you sit there and say, oh, nobody loves me, you could sit there and say, hey, nobody loves me and no one's ever going to love me. Or, hey, I've lived this long and I haven't met the person that ultimately will be the person that loves me. What an amazing thing to look forward to.
Yeah, that's a good way to look
Like,
at it.
I mean, I've thought about sometimes that, like, I'm, by, you know, human standards, a decently older person, 42 years old on this planet, still looking amazing. It's incredible. No, I'm seriously, I'm attractive. Anyways, the thing that gets me, though, is that I have not met my kid, who will be someone that I will be one of the most important, if not the most important person that I'll ever meet. I haven't met him yet.
Right.
That's incredible to me that hasn't happened. It's incredible to me that I've lived this long and I have done all these things, but what amazing things lie in front of me.
Yeah.
And again, I could either look at it as, oh, I'm alone in the world and life sucks, or hey, you know what an incredible thing I could be in.
Yeah, just to think about all the possibilities of things that could happen in your life and how that could possibly one day produce another human being.
Mm-hmm. Or just the simple fact of the matter is like even this show.
Right.
I mean, think of all of the things that had to have happened. Think about the things that we had to be at that one bar in Scarpazi's.
Right.
I had to come up to you and start talking to you. You had to be receptive to me talking to you.
I had to go to school.
You had to go to school. I had to go to school. The Q92.9 show had to fail. I had to meet Brian Crawford. I had to, actually I didn't meet Brian Crawford. I met Tom Henry and Matt Wolfarth, who then introduced me to Brian Crawford.
Yeah.
Who then Brian Crawford approached me with the show. I approached you. You said yes. We did this. Blah blah blah. Here we are. There's a lot of things that have to, And it also then comes down to like certain things of like when people talk about like how bad movies get made. And anybody who's ever been part of a movie sit there and say, it's amazing any movie gets made.
That's very true.
Yeah, it's amazing that any TV show happens. It's amazing that any, and I'll eventually do the segment where, you know, I talk about workplace jargon. No one has ever worked at a place where, honestly, people look at each other and be like, it's amazing we produce anything.
Yeah.
It's my first job with Coca-Cola, again, this is Coca-Cola. This is one of the biggest, most prestigious companies that sell the most widely consumed beverage on the planet outside of milk and water.
Right.
And after a month, I sat there and went, dear God, this place is run by people that I doubt know how to wipe their own ass.
Yeah.
But the thing is, when I was young, I thought this was the only company. No, every company runs with people that you sit there and be like, how does that person do anything?
I think about that a lot in our staff meetings when we think about like band names. We just come up with band names all the time and do stupid things. We're like, no, we get work done. We make this company work somehow.
That's another thing you always talk about is like how does anybody achieve any success?
We don't know.
How does anybody, and how much of it is luck? How much of it is, it's hard work, and you want it to be, people want there to be a reason why something happens.
Yeah.
And that's why you always get into this conspiracy theory. Like everybody sits and goes, oh, you know that the reason why Kennedy was shot was because he was going to end the Vietnam War and all this kind of stuff. No one wants to think it's because one crazy guy got a rifle and shot him.
Yeah.
No one wants to think that something like that can just randomly happen.
But there's so many things that led up to that too.
Yeah.
You know, like the fact that he was president at all.
That his dad bought the election. That his dad had the money to buy the election. That his dad was even, around. Who knows?
Yeah.
So many different things had to happen for Alex and Mike to be here to give you the quality internet radio that you deserve.
Yes. And nudity and things like that.
And Alex being nude in 9th grade. And 10th, and 11th, and 12th, and in college, and
every
recently,
year
and the past.
since.
Yeah, every year since.
Since I was a baby.
To be honest with you, Alex's natural state where she wants to be is without clothes.
I mean, you come out of the womb naked. You're not
Yes.
clothed coming out of the womb. Why do we need to cover that shit up?
That's the whole point of what Alex is trying to give you all out there in internet radio land. But everyone gets bent out of shape when one guy runs up the Fort Pitt Bridge with no clothes on.
I mean, just stop taking pictures and wrecking your stupid cars. Just
How about
drive.
just let the guy do the nude yoga? Let it be. Speaking words of wisdom, let it be.
Oh, God.
There you go. My name's Mike Sasson. That's Alex Clemens. Thank you very much, Alex, for your bar thought and experience for today.
You're welcome. I feel like it was more positive than normal.
You know what?
More positive than drunken.
Yeah, well, who knows? Anyways, if anybody knows me, they would sit there and be like, Mike, you know what your greatest attribute is outside of tremendous handsomeness and amazing humor? You're a problem solver. So I'm starting a new segment today called I'll Fix This. It has the same theme song because we haven't thought of another one. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was going to just pick one, but
Pick
I know,
one. I
I
don't
know
care.
that you really like when I do that.
Do it. Pick one.
Rich Girls and Horses?
No.
I'm just kidding. There's one called Rich Get Richer. I feel like that would be appropriate. I don't
Play
really,
it.
I don't know the song. Though,
Play it.
so
I don't
we'll
care.
See.
Play it.
It sounds like you fixing stuff.
Okay. That was a nice bit.
Too long to get into that main part.
that was a nice-
I'll have to listen to the rest of the song.
I'll be honest with you, it's a nice bass line. Anyway, so I saw an ad, not an ad, but a headline. You can put in the headline that the Miss America pageant is making changes. They're eliminating the swimsuit competition. Now going to be pissed off because they sit there and they say, hey, you're changing this and it's been around since like the 1930s.
We don't like
whatever.
change.
Yeah, we don't like change. It's like saying, oh, no, vegans are never going to like McDonald's, okay? They're never going to like the concept of a steakhouse.
Right.
If they all of a sudden said, oh, by the way, at the steakhouse, we're not going to serve this cut of steak. Then it's not all of a sudden the vegans are going to be like, okay, then we're for you all of a sudden.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. So here's my thing. Either cancel the entire thing or go hard or go home. Just put in the swimsuit competition, put in all sorts. And so here's some other changes. Because the thing that gets me is, if you're not going to cancel it, and especially if you're going to eliminate the swimsuit competition, you've really made this into a horrible TV show.
Right.
Because, like, people sit there and go, oh, it's for scholarship money. No one wants to watch 50 women wearing for scholarship money. The whole point of the Miss America pageant is really and actually a pretty cool idea for a TV show. If I came up to you and said, hey, there's going to be a TV show in which they're going to find the most beautiful woman in America.
Right.
That'd be a pretty cool TV show.
Yeah.
And that's what the Miss America pageant was supposed to be.
Yeah.
But now it's not. It's now we're trying to find future, doctors. Which,
the best woman
yeah,
in
the
America.
best woman. But again, what's the best woman? Who knows?
Well, yeah. Who are we to say who is the best woman?
Yeah, who are we as a people to say that someone is the best woman?
Yeah, that's
knows?
very mean of us.
So here are some changes that I've decided to at least make it a good TV show if you decide to keep it and have no swimsuit competition.
Yes.
Number one, have a Mr. America pageant happening at the same time.
I would watch the shit out of that.
So you have one, like the women, and then you also have the dudes competing.
Yeah, I like it.
All right, so Alex likes it. All right, so that's the first thing. Next one is no more of this scholarship BS. Just give the winner $1 million.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like a lot of these women are older.
Mm-hmm.
Do they really need a scholarship?
Well, here's my thing. If you get $1 million, you could pay for your entire college education.
Yeah. You don't have to say what it goes to, or
Yeah.
you could pay for like a boob job.
Whatever
you want.
New car, whatever.
Yeah.
Who cares? Mr. America and Mrs. America, $1 million apiece. Boom, win, victory. It's amazing.
They can afford it.
Awesome. Also, you gotta jazz up the telecast. All right. Number one, nobody knows who's in the contest until 15 minutes before the show.
Yes.
So you just have a whole audience filled with attractive people, and they just announce, hey, if you're from New Jersey, run up here and see if you want to be part of it.
It's kind of like The Price is Right.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's exactly like The Price is
You
Right.
have to wear like crazy clothes in the audience. They're like, you get it. Come on down.
Yeah, and you have to guess how many of the judges are gay. And it turns out, you can't guess all of them. It has to be over under. Anyways,
Right.
So that's the first thing. Also, interesting talent competitions. Like every woman draws the smallest penis she's ever seen.
Yes.
That'd be interesting. See who does it the best. That'd be a pretty cool thing. Or guess which contestant lost their virginity first. That'd be an interesting thing. There you go. Lots of interesting things that'll make people want to watch.
I'm trying to guess based off of this swimsuit picture.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's hard to say. It's real hard to say.
That's why it's not that easy. You get to, and it can be like 10,000.
Is it like the audience members guessing, or like the other
other
contestants?
people guess?
Oh, okay.
So you get 10. You guess like of the group. You're like, I don't know. I'm thinking Miss Texas.
Yeah.
And then she
always Miss Texas.
Always Miss Texas.
Yeah.
Anyways, actually, it's probably like
how they do it in Texas.
That's how they do it in Texas. Also, questions like you talk about. They don't want to answer questions. We'll have questions after an hour. Tequila Power Hour.
Ooh.
That's when stuff gets real.
Yeah.
That'll be really cool.
Everyone's throwing up everywhere.
Yeah, but then everyone's throwing up everywhere. Everyone's talking crap on the other people. Plus, when you get to the last 5, every girl has to tell why the other 4 shouldn't win.
Yes.
That's when stuff like goes. She's already drunk and she sits there and goes, "Oh, I guess we're finding Miss America fat asses," and then it gets real catty, and then it becomes like
fights everywhere.
Yeah, then it becomes like a Maury episode.
Yeah.
That's what people want. Also, the losers, all the losers have to get a tattoo of the winner's face somewhere on their body. That way, the winner, like the losers, really feel it if they lose.
Preferably their face.
I would say chest. Face would be kind of rough.
Yeah, that's the point.
Yeah, I don't know. Well,
we're not gonna lose this.
Yeah,
Then they'd really fight for it.
Yeah, there you go. Also, the winner gets refills of any beverage at any bar in America for that year.
That sounds nice.
Yeah, that's a nice
little thing. I would compete just for that.
There you go. Also, the winners don't have to answer any questions from cops. All they have to say is, "Fuck you, I'm Miss America," and then they get out of it.
I like that.
Yeah, so it's like you get like a
Or
get out
Mr.
of jail free
America.
card for the whole year. So that way we're going to get some high quality people to become Mr. and Mrs. America.
It honestly sounds very dangerous if they can drink at any bar forever, and then also
Not just for that year.
Yeah, for that year. I mean, like forever, as in they can unlimitedly drink and then go, do stupid shit, and the cops not care.
Yeah.
That seems just slightly dangerous, but only one person.
Only one person gets to do it.
How much damage can that really do?
I know, but it'll be fun for that 1 year for that person to be able to know that they can get away with anything.
Yeah.
Also, for their birthday party, they can force any performer to get back together or perform even if they're not on tour.
Even if they're dead.
Well, dead we'd have a problem with, but like for instance, you want to get Led Zeppelin back together, boom, they have to do it.
Yeah.
Legally.
In sync.
In sync, get in sync back together if that's what you want.
Who doesn't want that?
Lots of people. Anyway, so I think my changes would save the Miss America pageant and help America overall. Alex, what do you think?
I agree, Mike. I'm all for it. I'm ready for it.
There you go. A new Miss America pageant for a new age. That was, I'll fix this. We're going to be taking a break, and when we come back, we will be doing Fresh Eyes, where the person who Alex shares a birthday with, we're going to discuss Prince and his first television appearance that was actually on the Midnight Special in 1980. We'll be talking about that after this. It's the Mike Sasson Show on the River's Edge at www.riversedgepgh.com. We'll be right back.
Brian Crawford letting you know that Kevin Slogic, my State Farm agent in Allison Park, is here to help life go right and reminds you that you're listening to the River's Edge Radio Network.
We are back with the Mike Sasson Show. You're listening to The River's Edge at www.riversedgepgh.com. Again, remember to like the River's Edge page. Remember to like the Mike Sasson Show page on Facebook, where you get all the best music and comedy news. Also, remember, June 30th, Mr. Small's Theater Yins Fest. It starts at noon. It's just self-contained at Mr. Small's Theater. It's going to be an incredible weekend. Also, the weekend before that, the weekend of June 21st, 22nd, 23rd, I will be performing with Colin Chamberlain and a headliner that I forgot, Adam Ferreira, at the Pittsburgh Improv. So lots of things to do in the Pittsburgh region. Alex, where will you be this coming weeks?
I'm going to a wedding next weekend.
Not your own, right?
No.
There you go. All the guys are like, oh.
Yeah, I feel like that would have maybe been a bigger announcement at some point in the show.
I think your wedding will be one of those things where you'll just be like, it'll be like 1 a.m. and you'll just be like with a dude who you met like 10 minutes earlier, and you'll just be like, let's go to Vegas. And that's how I feel your first marriage will be.
Absolutely. And then I'll just come back and be like, hey guys, I got married yesterday, and I had a really great time doing this, blah blah blah, and just kind of bypass it. That's exactly how it'll be.
And you're like, this is my new husband, Jeff, and he goes, my name's George. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, and then you divorce like an hour later, like Britney Spears style.
No. At least give it like a week or two.
The best answer ever was when Britney Spears got married to that Alexander dude.
Yeah.
And they annulled the thing like an hour later.
Yeah.
And the way that they did it was they said that essentially she wasn't mentally capable of making the decision to be married.
I don't think I'm mentally capable.
I don't think anybody's mentally capable.
Yeah.
So we should all have marriage annulled.
Yeah. I'm definitely looking for an annulment more than like getting divorced.
Yeah.
Because it sounds, I don't know, sounds slightly better.
My mom had to get her marriage annulled, and she had to do it through the Catholic Church, and it took like 18 months.
Huh.
Yeah, a little too long.
I
That's
got
why you got to
time
go
for
the
that.
Britney Spears method, which is just everybody just says that you're mentally deficient.
Yeah. I'm fine with that.
There you go.
As long as I'm not married anymore.
There you go. Also, just again, we're talking about Prince. The reason why I brought up Prince was because Prince shares a birthday with you.
Yeah, he does.
June 7th would have been Prince's 60th birthday. He was born on June 7th, 1958. And again, we all know he was passed away on April 21st, 2016, when we lost him. His full name was Prince Rogers Nelson, named after his father's stage name.
I didn't know that his real name was actually Prince.
Yeah, that's one thing that always I get people is I'll say, hey, you know what Prince's real name was? And everyone's like, oh, George. I'm like, it was Prince. So Prince was actually his real name. It's like Madonna's real name is Madonna.
Yeah.
So like.
My real name's Alex.
Yeah. It's not like, well, people think that you make that up, but no.
It's for real.
Yeah. Same thing with the Mike Sasson Show. That's one thing that everyone always dealt with me is I legitimately did. And I made a joke about this early in my comedy career. When I was with The Fan, someone called me up and said that Mike Sasson was a radio name. Said, what's your real name? And I'm like, Mike Sasson. And they're like, no, like Michael Assassin, like Johnny Rotten. No, what is your real name? And I'm like, Steve Jordan. Like, oh, okay.
That's a good name for you.
Yeah, thank you. Anyways, this was Prince's first TV appearance. It was in January 1980 on a NBC show called The Midnight Special, which before MTV was the only chance you really got to see bands perform, especially cool bands.
Right.
Which I thought was it was the way it should be. It was January 1980. And one of the things I remember watching this clip was I sat there and went, you know what? The people are seeing the birth of the 1980s. Because this guy was going to be such a huge star of the 1980s. So
I thought you were going to say since it was January, wasn't he a little bit cold?
Oh, we'll discuss that in a couple seconds. He was 21 at the time, which is weird because he kept on. There's a lot of mystery around this guy. Like I read a bunch of articles about him. Like in his first American Bandstand appearance, which happened later in that month, he said he was 19, even though he's 21.
So how old really is he?
Well, now we have his death certificate and everything like that.
Do we, though?
I don't know.
Do we? I feel like we don't.
I don't know. Who cares? Anyway, so the thing is that like he kept on saying, he said on the show he was 19, and he goes, well, when did you get signed? He goes, I got signed 4 years ago. And like Dick Clark was like, so you got signed when you were 15 years old? It turns out he got signed, he was 21 years old. He got signed when he was like 17, 18 years old, which is still real young. But, like, and then you start reading, he goes, oh, he was signed to Warner Brothers Records when he was 17 years old.
Yeah.
And then another article said, no, he was signed 17 to, like, some independent label in Minneapolis. And then when he was 18 or 19, he got signed by Warner Brothers Records.
No one knows the real story.
Nobody knows the real story. Also, this is actually from his Wikipedia page, which, again, someone could have made this up. He actually didn't like the name Prince when he was a kid, and he wanted everyone to call him Skipper.
Aw, if only he would have stuck with that.
Do you really think that a performer named Skipper would have, especially since he was trying to be all sexy and stuff like that?
I would have listened to him.
Yeah, you'd have listened to a guy named Skipper.
Hell yeah. If I can marry a guy named Skipper, I'm all for it.
My head coach back in the day was named Skip.
Okay. No, it has to be
Skipper. Not Skip.
Yeah.
Skipper.
I like call him Skip like more being sexual, you know.
Like, get over here, Skip.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's very tough to be sexual with a Skip.
Yeah.
Sounds like a guy should go get your paper.
No, I can see it.
You think Skipper is a sexy name?
I like it. I think it has a lot of character.
Okay. I think you're drunk. Anyways, couple things about the performance. Are we showing the picture of his performance?
Yeah.
How would you describe to the people what he's wearing?
Some underwear.
What type?
And a little vest, a little Speedo looking underwear, some high boots, like high as in almost to his underwear.
I think actually those are stockings. He's wearing high heels and stockings.
I don't know. They kind of look like boots because they're kind of like not right against his leg.
Okay.
But some underwear and a little like vesty thing. And
do you think he looks good?
Zebra print. I'm not a fan of the outfit.
Are you a fan of Prince?
Like looks wise or just like performer wise?
All of it.
Definitely not looks wise. I don't find him very attractive.
Okay.
But performer wise, yes, definitely. I think he's a pretty amazing performer, and the fact that he can do so many things is amazing.
Yeah, on this album, first off, this wasn't off his first album. His first album was called For You. He spent on that album double what they allotted for it. Because, again, he was a 17-year-old kid producing his own album. So guess what?
Let's go crazy.
He just went crazy. So they were like, you owe us a lot of money. So then he produced his second album that she just called Prince that eventually kind of set him up. And this was the one he was performing off of. That one sold 3 million copies. So
just 3 million,
Just 3 million. I mean, yeah, eventually Purple Rain and all that kind of stuff did more. But this one was 3 million, and it kind of set him up. And he did a couple of the songs. The first one, I Want to Be Your Lover, which was kind of like a disco song.
Yeah.
And then the other one was Why Do You Treat Me So Bad?
Yeah.
Which, again, the thing that got me about his performance of the second one was him playing guitar. because he shredded that guitar at the end.
Yeah.
That was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And I would just find it very interesting because the fact of the look of the band, I can imagine in 1980 was very shocking to an average person.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So what else did you notice about the performance? What did you think about the performance?
To be honest, I wasn't a huge fan of this performance. I feel like it was a lot less exciting and like more almost generic. Like, obviously, like it was definitely at that time, you know, way ahead of its time, and like it was kind of the introduction, whatever. But looking at it now and looking at his other performances, like later in his life, it's kind of like, you know.
But for a 21-year-old kid, first time on TV, it was pretty good.
I honestly don't even like when he, like, I obviously appreciate when he plays the guitar and stuff like that, but I like when he's like dancing around the stage, you know, like going back and forth. And you're like, how is he doing this and still singing? You know?
And in high heels. Typically, he was always in high heels.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty amazing. Like, I mean, when you watch Purple Rain and you see like the performances like in that too, like obviously it's a little different because, you know, it's a movie. But like when you see those performances, you're like, how on earth does he have the energy for these things? And like, he's such a crazy, over the top performer all the time.
Well, one thing, and I'm not trying to get like all sad about it, is that some people feel that expectation level of what he needed to do is what ultimately led to his demise.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because it came back to toxicology report, and he was essentially a drug overdose.
Yeah.
And people say the reason why he did all that is because, again, he was almost 60 years old, and when people saw him, they expected to see Prince, and that means they expected a guy to be dancing, and expected a guy to be moving. It's the same thing that killed Michael Jackson. When people wanted to see Michael Jackson, they wanted to see the dancer Michael Jackson. And again, you're in your 50s.
Right.
Your body's not exactly responding. Yeah, your body's not exactly responding in the same way when you were 21 years old.
Yeah.
So it's kind of rough.
Yeah.
So, but in terms of performances, I just feel that like, because I remember one time I was watching an interview that David Bowie did with MTV, and this was early MTV, it's like 1983.
Yeah.
And at the time, MTV was not showing black artists. And the reason why they said was because, well, only white kids have cable, and this is on cable, so we've got to like tailor it to their needs. So that's why they did it. And so they had Mark Goodman was interviewing David Bowie. Mm-hmm. And David Bowie just flat out said, he goes, is there a reason why you do not have black artists on your show? On your network, this is crap. And Mark Goodman goes, well, you know, he said the thing like, hey, only, you know, white kids in the suburbs have cable. And he goes, you really think middle America would be ready for Prince?
Yeah.
And I laugh at the point because 2 years later, their entire network was pretty much based on Prince.
Right.
So it shows that Mark Goodman's an idiot.
I do like this performance because you can definitely tell, like, even if I didn't know who Prince was, I think you can absolutely tell in this performance, like, this guy's going to be something big and he's going to change a lot of things. And you can definitely tell that by just 2 songs that he sings, you know?
As I said before, it was January 1980, and people who were watching the Midnight Special on that date were seeing the birth of the 1980s. Again, this is Fresh Eyes with Prince. So next week we'll have something else.
No idea what.
No idea what. I usually pick it because I want to, like, just so you get into my mind, I have to find something that I think Alex will at least find something interesting. So it's one of those things of like, okay, if I give her something that I think she'll like too much, the segment won't be very fun.
Right.
I have to give you something to where you're like, okay, that is complete 1980s. And again, when your birthday, I was like, oh, who shares a birthday with Alex? Prince. Then we went with Prince.
Yeah, or if there's like, you could see the guy's penis in the song. That's how you pick them, right?
If you could see the penis, you can't see his penis in the song.
No, not this.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
saying there's been past videos where.
Oh well, yeah. Who had bigger junk, Prince or Robert Plant?
I think Robert Plant's still
there. You go.
Very top of that list.
I think that'll be the last question of every segment: is who had the biggest junk of what we've seen?
It's like who wore it better.
Yeah, who wore his penis better?
Yeah.
That should be in the back of People magazine. Who wore his penis better? You know, like they always sit there and have 2 women who wear like the same outfit.
Yeah, I don't think it would work.
What wouldn't work?
I don't think that in People magazine would work.
What magazine do you think it would work?
Playboy?
Playboy? Yeah, if there is still. Now, you know what? You know what's happening? Playboy's a lot like Coca-Cola now, in that Mexican Playboy is way better than our Playboy because they're
I
like
believe
old.
it.
They're like old school Playboy, and we're like, we're now trying to be all special.
The new modern.
Yeah, that's the thing. The same thing with the Miss America pageant is the same thing that Playboy tried to do when they tried to get rid of the nudity. And guess what? No one then liked it. Because it wasn't like the people that didn't like Playboy before was like, oh, you took away the nudity. Must be, I'll look at the magazine now. No, none of them showed up. And then the people that love the magazine and love the nudity, they hated it.
Yeah.
See how everything is like a circle. It's like a circle of nudity.
And
Anyways,
everyone loves nudity.
everyone loves nudity. Everyone also loves news and notes from the world of sports, gossip, entertainment, and weirdness. Alex, play the theme song.
It all starts now.
First thing that came up was I saw a list that somebody put together of the top 40 pieces of workplace jargon. Now, you're now in the workaday world, Alex. And so you realize that there are certain phrases that people say that, and they don't even know what they mean anymore.
Yeah.
Just people say them all the time.
Yeah.
So someone put together a list. They first off asked, they go, what percentage of people use workplace jargon? Turns out 70% of people admitted to using most of these lists.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is what, if you...
I am ready.
Now, by the way, if you're unemployed, it's probably because you don't use these phrases.
So work them into your vocabulary and you're getting a job.
There you go. Number one, give 110%,
Yeah.
which of course is not possible.
Right.
Yeah, it's stupid.
I mean, it is possible for me.
How is it possible for you to give more than your maximum?
Because I'm extra.
But
I have extra bones in my feet and it goes right into that 10%.
But the problem is then that your 100 is then just different than other people's 100. Okay.
It's just better.
I don't know about that. Think outside the box.
Yeah.
Has anyone ever said, we got to think outside the box in this situation?
Yes.
The reason why people say that is, in my opinion, people really don't want you to think of anything new until they do. And so the environment of work often does not create anything new because they don't want you to think of anything new.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden they go, holy shit, we got to think of something new.
Right.
Someone think of something new.
Yeah. Completely new.
Yeah, outside
Not
of the
like
box.
anything else.
Even though most offices are boxes.
Yes.
So what you should do is leave the office and maybe go camping or maybe get some ice cream.
Out of the box.
There you go. Hammer it out. Heavy lifting. Throw them under the bus. Which, have you ever seen someone, where did that thing come from? Throw someone under the bus. Why wasn't it train? Why wasn't it in the river? It was just throw them under the bus.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably happened at some point.
At some point, someone threw someone under the bus and then went, hey, that's a business term now. Don't count your chickens before they've hatched. Pushing the envelope.
Yes.
What does that even mean?
Push it.
Push what?
It doesn't make any sense yet.
Hey, why would anybody say push an envelope? I mean, does that mean that you're filling the envelope with too much stuff? So that means you're pushing the envelope?
Maybe.
I don't know. Let the cat out of the bag. Why did you put the cat in the bag in the first place?
Because cats belong in bags.
They usually have boxes or like those carriers.
Yeah,
You don't put cats in bags.
I do.
Okay. Let's circle back, which is usually a blow-off term. It means like, yeah, let's get back to that later. I don't want to talk to you. Win-win situation, which should be what you always go for in terms of everyone should win.
Right.
Yeah. Like, hey, this is a win-win.
Yes.
There you
always.
go. Blue sky thinking, which just means that you don't understand that life sucks. That's what they're saying. It's like, oh, that we can't have blue sky thinking here. It means you have to realize that our business sucks and that we're probably going to close. Boil the ocean. I don't even know what that means.
The shit does that mean?
I don't
I've
even know
never
what that
heard
means.
that.
I've never heard that mean in my life. Synergy. That's a huge word. Everyone loves synergy.
Yeah.
Everyone loves corporate synergy.
Yeah.
How would you describe synergy?
Everything working and everyone getting along nicely.
I've always thought it meant that different divisions work cohesively, so you don't have what they have, quote unquote, I'll use another business jargon, silos. So that distribution talks to sales and sales talks to service.
Communication.
Exactly. Low-hanging fruit, which is why you, of course, eat the low-hanging fruit.
Just reminds me of balls.
Low-hanging balls?
Low-hanging fruit reminds me of balls, yeah.
Really? Anytime, like when you look at low-hanging fruit, like in a tree, you're like, testicles.
Yes.
Okay. Take it to the next level.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is like a pump-up thing.
110%.
Barking up the wrong tree. When is is that because like a dog at one time was like barking to get like a squirrel, and it turns out the squirrel was in another tree?
Yeah, or maybe the squirrel attacked him and that was not the right tree to bark out.
Who knows? Going forward, that's just weird. Let's go with some other ones. Let's ballpark this. What does that mean?
I have no idea.
It means like let's come up with a number, but it's not an exact number. Run this up the
why.
flagpole,
Yeah,
which again, the only thing that goes up a flagpole is
a flag.
a flag. So I don't even know what that means. Back to square one, which means start from the beginning. There's no I in team. Yes, but there is an M and an E.
Yes.
Always remember that. Back to the drawing board. Paradigm shift, which
What?
means like if all of a sudden like people just stop wearing T-shirts and be like, hey, we've got a paradigm shift in our customer base. We got to start selling tacos or something.
Ooh.
All right. Raise the bar. Drill down. Best thing since sliced bread, which I want to talk to the guy who
Office term.
Yeah, what?
Office term.
Yeah.
I feel like that's just a general life term.
Who knows? Deep dive. Skin in the game. Has anyone ever told you that? You need to get a little skin in the game?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a dumb thing. Reach out, touch base, play hardball. Don't reinvent the wheel. But the problem is they want you to think outside the box, but don't reinvent the wheel.
Right. You got to think outside the box, but within a parameter.
Yep. Kept in the loop, the bottom line, down the road, I'll loop you in. I'll loop you in sounds like a nice name for an album.
Oh.
Yeah. Kept in the loop, a lot of looping.
Yeah,
Lot
that
of-
sounds sexual to me.
You keep like someone's tying you up.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
Oh,
I was
okay.
more thinking like orgies
Ah,
in the loop.
there's a loop in like.
You know, it's like everyone who's in the orgy, like they're in a loop, you know? Mm-hmm.
So you like in a circle, you're saying.
Kind of, but not in an actual circle.
I would
You
say that
know?
there's a special circular room in
They
which
like
people have sex.
get it, you know, like you can call them up and like, hey, let's get the loops together.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a nice thing. Or you could just tap out, whatever. The bottom line, down the road, I'll loop you in. Hit the nail on the head, ASAP, and team player.
Yes.
So if
Team player.
if you currently do not have a job, it's probably because you do not use those words.
Yes.
So you got to use those words.
In your interview, you should say, I give 110% all the time, and I am a big team player.
I'm a big team player.
I'll keep you in the loop.
I hit nails on heads. I drill down.
Yeah, always.
I promote synergy. I do a lot of those things.
Yeah.
And then people would just be like, you're the new boss. That's how it works.
That is, yeah.
Boom.
I've seen it happen in real life.
When something else that happens in real life is that sometimes pieces of social media come out that prove that maybe someone that you thought might have had a little bit of sense, turns out they might not have a lot of sense.
That seems right.
Okay, Lindsey Vonn, very successful downhill skier. I think now is venturing off into the world of media and all this other kind of stuff. So she was at an event where there were veterans.
Yes.
And so she messaged out on her Snapchat or Instagram, whatever, a big thing where she was with a gentleman, an older gentleman, who was in a wheelchair. And in it, she says underneath, 99-year-old Vietnam veteran. Correct, Alex?
Yes.
Now, Alex, there's another picture to show something because the man is wearing a hat. What does the hat say?
World War II veteran.
So, Lindsay, I'm talking to you specifically. How do you get which war the guy was in wrong when the guy's wearing a hat indicating which war he was in?
Yeah. I mean, maybe someone photoshopped this hat afterwards and then posted it all over the internet. Like, look at how stupid she is. But I don't think that happened.
I think personally what happened was she just assumes that everyone's a Vietnam veteran because that's the most popular veteran that people talk about. And even though she did not first off, 99 years old is pretty old for a Vietnam veteran.
Right, yeah. You should have considered that probably first.
Yeah, because I that means he was born probably around 2000, 1918 or 1917. And, that means he was more than likely belt-high fastball for a World War II.
Right.
Yeah. The earliest he could have possibly gotten into Vietnam would be like 64, 65, at which point he would have been in almost his late 40s.
Yeah, no one's doing that.
Unless he was like the general, unless he like ran the Vietnam War. But that might have been the person that could meet Lindsey Vonn, so who knows? My thing would be if the person is wearing a hat indicating World War II veteran, in your message, you should say Vietnam veteran, period. Oh, by the way, even though his hat does say World War II, we got it from another guy.
Yeah.
Something like
just
that.
Kidding.
Just kidding. Who knows? It could have been like Gulf War veteran. Then the people are like, ha, 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 he's old, he's going to die soon. Something like that. But again, it shows that Lindsey Vonn possibly wasn't reading the hat. So go from there. Another thing that we possibly don't like to read is more stories about how dumb Florida is.
Oh, no, never like to read those.
Anyway, so this is a story that I don't typically do Florida is dumb stories because every morning show in America does Florida is dumb stories.
That's absolutely true.
But I had to bring this one up because this is a level of stupidity that I feel really takes the cake.
Do Florida morning shows talk about how dumb they are?
No, they talk about how dumb Pennsylvania is.
Oh,
yeah,
that's stupid.
Yeah, it's kind of
dumb.
Yeah, that's how dumb they are. So, in the state of Florida, they have a system to where they do background checks on people who want to buy guns.
Okay.
All right. So they feel like, oh, that's great, whatever. But then there have been some shootings in Florida. There was a massive shooting at a nightclub about a year or so ago. And so people started to look into, hey, is everybody really getting a background checked? And how thorough is this background checked and all this kind of stuff? So they found out the person in Tallahassee who was supposed to be doing the background check.
Yeah.
Turns out the person had not been doing the background checks for well over a year. And the reason why is truly one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my life. It turns out that the person stopped doing the background checks because she forgot her password into the computer system, and so she got locked out, and she never called anybody to get the password to fix it.
I mean, why else do you stop doing work? That's a pretty big problem, I think, in the workplace. There
You just
should be
forget
some
the
jargon
password.
for that.
You just do the three. You do the three like, hey, I forgot the password. How many times do you try your password until you do the forgot password thing?
A lot.
I do one, because then if they lock you out, I do. Oh, and then if I go, I don't know if I did it. I check make sure my caps lock wasn't on. And then if I do one, then I sit there and go, you know what? I should just check and then go from there.
See, I pretty much have one password for everything, and then I have very slight variations on it depending on what specifics you need for passwords.
As do I.
So I have basically typically I'll try maybe 3 times because that's how many variations I have, and then if those don't work, I have no idea what I was thinking that day.
Which also, but if your job was to make sure that criminals did not get assault weapons, would you at one point possibly look into getting a new password into the computer program that checks their background?
Yeah, I think so, because I feel like I would be, especially if something bad happens, you're a little responsible there.
Which is why the state of Florida is what it is. I always say that the state of Florida is interesting because if you think about the people that move to Florida, you're either got insanely rich people that want to avoid taxes or people that could not get a job in the northern parts of the country.
Right.
So they sit there and be like, hey, let's go to Florida. There's more jobs. And
I can live by the beach.
And I can live by the beach, and it's always going to be really humid.
Yeah.
And have giant bugs. I lived in Florida when I was a little kid, and people say, oh, what do you remember about Florida? I remember it was really, really humid, and there were giant snakes and giant bugs.
Sounds great.
Yeah, sounds like a place you want to raise a kid, which my father and mother agreed it wasn't. So that's that one. Also, speaking of other people that giant bugs and giant lizards, Donald Trump last week, as we talked about, pardoned Jack Johnson, the great boxing champion from his conviction back in the early part of the 20th century, called from the Mann Act.
Right.
And so he kind of got on a roll because everyone said, hey, good job, Trump. That was a really good thing you did, Mr. President. So he said, you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking I'm going to actually give a pardon to Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
Here's the only problem. Muhammad Ali does not have a criminal record.
I mean, I don't see the problem here.
You have to have something to pardon. So I mean, like, and that must have been an interesting conversation. It's like, I'm gonna pardon Muhammad Ali, Mr. President. He currently doesn't have anything to pardon him for. It's like, no, let's just pardon
he was
him.
probably like, oh shit, like what did I do?
Yeah, I just pardoned him. What,
Yeah.
For what? And they actually, his representatives tweeted out. They go, we appreciate the thought, but his only conviction was for the whole not wanting to go to Vietnam thing, and the Supreme Court exonerated him in 1971.
Yeah.
So we're good here.
Yeah.
So congratulations for Donald Trump for. I mean, I think he's getting pardon happy.
Can he pardon me? You know, all those drugs and stripper and I don't know, whatever violations. Do you think he can pardon me? Maybe I'll hit him up on Twitter.
Here's what
Yo, Trump.
Here's what you got to do. You got to get a famous person because, like, the person that Kim Kardashian went to him to say, hey, you should pardon, got pardoned. So you have to, and Jack Johnson only got pardoned because Sylvester Stallone said, hey, you should pardon this guy.
Okay, so what celebrity likes me enough?
Me.
Oh,
I'm it.
okay.
It's me.
Right.
So if you ever do get pinched for anything, you got to make sure that, like, I'm still in the good graces of me so that I can call him up and be like, hey, it's the Sass Man.
I was kind of thinking Kim Kardashian. We're pretty tight.
Are you pretty tight with Kim Kardashian?
Yeah.
Who knows?
We go way back.
Way back.
Yeah.
Both have the big giant booties. You always make sure that you're always naked. You're big into nudity. She's big into nudity.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go. So maybe Kim Kardashian could get you out of all of those massive drug problems that you had back in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Speaking of someone that possibly has massive drug problems, a gentleman named Zach Diassi, who is the long snapper for the New York Giants. So what he did was he had a charity event in which he brought his 2 Super Bowl rings to the party because, of course, you know, you want to show off your Super Bowl rings to everybody and go, hey, I'm a big shot. Mm-hmm. But when he got home after the party, to his dismay, they're gone.
No.
And he sits there and goes, oh, my God, my Super Bowl rings, what I worked so hard long snapping for, are gone. He calls the cops and says, hey, someone stole my Super Bowl rings. They're worth $34,000. Someone needs to find my Super Bowl rings. The next morning, someone walked outside of where the event was held and saw some broken glass in a box. He picked up the box and found his Super Bowl ring.
Oh.
It turns out that what he had done was he put the Super Bowl rings on top of his car and then forgot to put them in his car and drove off.
Oh, damn. But don't you hate when you do that? You put your Super Bowl rings on top of the car and drive off. I do that all the time.
I have one championship ring. I won a New England Division championship when I was in college playing football. It's one of my most prized possessions in the world. I couldn't imagine what I would do with a Super Bowl ring. I probably would take better care of it than just dumping it on top of a car. And oh, by the way, he only found one. So the other Super Bowl ring is gone forever.
Ooh.
So
Let's get our metal detectors out.
up in New Jersey, see if we can find one.
Yeah.
You can get a Super Bowl ring on like eBay. There's like poor people, like football players that are like going crazy that have to sell them.
Yeah, but I could also find one, not have to buy it, and then maybe make $34,000.
Would you
of it.
keep the Super Bowl ring or would you try to sell it again?
I'd probably keep it until I was really desperate, you know?
Would you walk around with it like you're a badass?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you put it around. You couldn't like wear it as one because it's probably big because it's a Super Bowl ring. I mean, because the guy probably wearing it is a big
Yeah.
guy. Would you put it around like your chest and be like, oh, look, this is my Super Bowl ring?
Yeah. Or maybe I'd somehow get it pierced onto my body.
Really? You'd have could you imagine like a Super Bowl nose ring?
Or like my eyebrow piercing is just a Super Bowl ring.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Or a nipple ring. That'd be pretty cool. Have that one.
Yeah, but then not as many people can see it.
But then like the outline of your like your chest would be a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I could see it.
There's a lot of
I
places.
feel
you
like
can
I'd
do it.
have to get another one.
See,
you know,
that's
so
why
it's
you got to
even.
find. You got to get the 2.
Yeah.
Got to get the 2 Super Bowl rings.
Yeah.
I remember talking to a couple of my friends whose dads played for the Steelers back in the day. They say their Super Bowl rings are in safety deposit boxes.
That's probably smart.
Yeah, and then also Craig Patrick's kid, who I went to high school with, his dad won a gold medal with the U.S. Olympic hockey team. Mm-hmm. Again, it's in a safety deposit box.
Right.
Not on top of his car.
Yeah. I want a safety deposit box just to put some stupid shit in.
When I worked at a bank, that's all people put safety deposit boxes were the biggest pain in the ass when you work at a bank.
Why?
Because everyone's like, oh, I need to see my safety deposit box, and they're pretending like they're putting in like government documents when they're not putting anything cool in there. And you can't look at it, and you have to make sure that you have to leave them alone, or they get like a special place to
Do
like.
they have like specifications on what you can put in there?
No.
So I could just put a bag of shit in there?
I mean, yeah. No one would call you on it.
I'm gonna do it.
Why would you pay for a yearly safety deposit box just to put shit in it?
I don't know. Probably just make those people's lives kind of crappy.
Because then, like all of a sudden, everybody's in there like, why does this bank smell like shit?
Yeah. But they couldn't open any of the boxes, and it would forever smell like that.
You legitimately would have to go get a locksmith to open it up and then eventually find it's just shit.
And then I could probably sue them for opening up my safety deposit box.
Well, the only way they'd open it up is like if they think that there's like bombs in it or something, like you're Al Qaeda or something.
Shit bombs.
Yeah, shit bombs.
Yeah.
By the way, that's another workplace saying: shit bombs. We gotta cover up our shit bombs.
That's what I say all the time.
There you go. And a couple more. This woman, Gabby DeMarco, she was at a San Diego Padres game, and the San Diego Padres, if you don't know, suck this year. So there's nothing really going on. So there's a foul ball into the stands, and she's drinking a beer.
Yeah.
Weirdly, after it bounces a couple times, lands right in her beer.
Yes.
So what do you do when a baseball lands in your beer? You chug the beer. So that's what Gabby DeMarco did. She chugged the beer with the baseball in it, and because of that, she became a national sensation on Twitter, in which totally so many guys sat there and said, I need to meet Gabby DeMarco. I want to marry Gabby DeMarco. She's the singularly coolest human being in the world. Budweiser offered to pay for her beer for a year because she chugged the beer with the baseball
What
in
the
it.
hell?
Men are very easy to please.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah.
You either got to show your boobs or catch a baseball in your beer.
Yeah, well, catch the baseball. It's not even just catch the baseball in the beer, then chug it.
I feel like I'm surprised that most of the beer didn't spill out.
I don't know.
Didn't splash out whenever the
So
baseball landed.
are you saying that it was kind of easy because probably
Yes.
it wasn't filled with a ton of beer?
Absolutely.
What's your biggest beer that you've ever chugged?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know ounces.
Okay. But like if the baseball was in it, it would significantly lessen that amount, right?
Yeah.
So you're saying
And this picture.
Uh-huh.
So you're saying she chugged this beer. This picture, her beer is not fully gone.
you're calling bullshit on this?
Yeah.
Okay, look in the camera, call bullshit.
I call bullshit on you, Gabby, whatever your face is.
Gabby, because apparently men are just going nuts. You go, that's the perfect woman. Chugs the beer.
I'm glad that's what I have to do in life for people to assume that I am the perfect woman.
Yes, you got to be at the ball game. You chug a beer, you eat some wings, and then you just, throw a baseball 95 miles an hour and be a real woman.
Yeah.
There you go.
I got the wing part down. I'm not going to a baseball game.
Yeah, you're not a huge baseball. And neither am I. I haven't gone to a baseball game in like a year because Pirates suck. Anyways, final story. Tim Cook, who is the head of Apple, came out and someone asked him a question and be like, what would be your advice to the world? And he says, quit trying to find what your purpose is in this world. Understand everyone's purpose is the same. It's to serve humanity.
Oh.
Here's why I call bullshit on that.
Oh, jeez.
It's very easy to say that when you're already worth $600 million.
You know what I want to ask him?
What's that?
Why don't you have more wrinkles, sir?
Because he's rich. Rich people don't age.
He has some nice ass skin
Yes.
for however old he is.
Yep. He's like in his 60s.
Yeah, he has nice ass skin.
I know, but he's rich, so he gets like the best like skin treatments and all that kind of good stuff. He gets like rich people. Like I did this story I was gonna do this story a couple weeks ago, but I didn't know where to put it in. Now it's time. Ocean's 8 came out, and Sandra Bullock and Cate Blanchett were on like the tour where you talk about the movie.
Yeah.
And they talk about that they get a skin treatment in New York City in which they get like the discarded foreskins of like boys from like Africa, like grinded up and like put on their face.
That sounds nice.
Yeah, they get dick massages or whatever.
I mean, just get some penises all over your face.
Yeah, just penis all over the face, all that kind of stuff. I bet you that's what Tim Cook gets.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff that rich people do. They get like, yeah, I want to get like the bones of like discarded fetuses from aborted fetuses from Saudi Arabia, and I want them pureed with gold dust, and I want them like rubbing my testicles with it.
You always got to have gold dust in there. That's like key.
Something. I don't know. That's weird. Rich people. My always thing is whenever I read this stuff, like remember a couple weeks ago when like the guy bought a $76,000 bottle of champagne and it broke?
Yeah.
And I sat there and went, I'm pissed off by the fact that if you've got that much money and you don't care if it breaks, then you've got too much money.
Yeah.
Same thing with the freaking ladies who get the freaking foreskin massages on their face. You got too much money.
You never know, Mike. You might have one of those one day and you're like, wow, I need to have this shit all the time.
Can you imagine if like I mean, it's impossible for me to look better. But let's say, for instance, you meet me in like 10, 15 years, like, hey, Mike, you haven't aged a bit. And you're like, foreskin massages.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, get out.
No, I don't know. I don't know what I would do in that circumstance.
You'd be like, Mike, why are you bothering
Yeah,
me?
I'd be like, why did you judge those people all those years ago when you do the same thing, Mike?
Yeah. Why do you live in a box and you live in a refrigerator box in Mount Washington, but yet you afford treatments with foreskin? And
Yeah.
I'm just like, it's 2032 or whatever. It's the times. It's 2032. It's the times. By the way, The Time, great band. Thank you very much for everyone who wished Alex a happy birthday. So we're going to go to our last segment, which is Comment Your Ass Off. Alex, play the song.
Say hello to the world. Say hello to the villain that's been you.
How many comments we got, Alex?
Just a couple from
All
our most favoritist fan.
There you go.
Asked if this is a scripted program.
Yep.
It's not.
It is. Every
Yeah, these
syllable.
papers that Mike has in front of them don't actually say anything.
They're
He just looks down at them to feel comfortable.
They're honestly just recipes for a great gumbo.
Yeah. He also told me happy birthday. Thank you, Sam.
There you go.
Who provides the wardrobe for the show? I'm surprised that he thinks that someone picked out your clothes.
This is a big and tall shop at Kmart.
Let's make this guy. I feel like he should just be wearing a different color T-shirt all the time. Like, let's upgrade him because he used to just wear black T-shirts. Let's upgrade him to something different. Maybe gray. You know?
Well, one of the things that I've always thought of is if eventually I did, let's say, host a big time like late night talk show.
Right.
First off, the studio would have to be freezing.
Right.
Like it would, like you would be able to store meat in this facility.
Right now, I am freezing.
I know, and I'm
And it's
honest.
70 degrees in here.
Yeah, I clearly want it to be like 7. Anyways, the other thing would be like, should I wear a suit? Or should I like try to be like cool with the kids?
Cool dude, yeah.
Yeah, like maybe I was thinking maybe like a sport coat, jeans, and maybe just the T-shirt type of look. Like I'm a CEO of like a tech company.
Right. Yeah. I could see that, I guess, but I don't think you could wear a coat.
Yeah.
No matter how cold it is in there, I don't think that you would wear a coat.
You think I just start sweating immediately?
Yeah.
The other thing people talk about is Adam Carolla got Botox in his face because he sweated a lot. So that stops the sweating in your face. But then the sweat has to go somewhere. So he says his ass sweats insane amounts.
Yeah, what's better, ass or face sweat?
But on TV, if it's between ass and face sweat, you got to go with the ass.
Yeah, unless you stand up and your whole butt is sweaty and like, people are like, oh, ugh.
I think that would be you'd work that out in post.
Yeah, okay.
You just work that out, and then you just get the people who are responsible for like the dinosaurs in in Jurassic Park to make sure that your butt looks amazing.
Yeah, you can fix everything in post.
You can fix everything in post. That's what we're looking into, to fix everything in post. We'll be back next Sunday with more hijinks, more tales of nudity, more tales of me trying to fix things that no one asked me to fix. Again, it's the Mike Sasson Show. Keep listening to The River's Edge. And also, June 30th, go to Mr. Small's Theater starting at noon. It's Yin's Fest. It's going to be incredible. Also, the weekend of the 20th, 21st, 22nd, and 23rd, I will be at the Pittsburgh Improv, so check it out. It's an amazing event. And Alex will be at a wedding next week getting hammered.
Yeah, don't come there.
Don't come there,
Don't
though.
come see me there, yeah.
Don't come there. But if you see her on the street, wish her a happy birthday.
Holla at me.
Holla. Go, hey, happy birthday, Alex. And then you just sit there and go, don't look at me. That's how you'd react?
Yeah, that's mainly how I react when anyone says anything to me.
Yeah.
Big, weird-looking, open-mouth smile.
Okay, let's do this. All right. Hey, Alex, how's things? That is a little weird.
And
Anyway.
I don't respond either.
Yeah, you don't respond. Hey, Alex, you're about to get run over by a car. There you go. That's the last look you'll ever see from Alex. Thank you very much to everyone who's watching, listening. Again, thank you to Brian Crawford and The River's Edge. Remember, listen to that on www.riversedgepgh.com. We'll be back next week. Peace out. See you. Bye.